All right, now we all know how brutal the Colosseum used to be. They would have like a man go against a bear in front of like 20,000 people, and they would just be like, yeah, rip him apart, bear. We all know how brutal the Colosseum used to get. But today I found a video called The Unfair Matches of the Roman Colosseum by my boy, Good Enough. I love this channel. He's hilarious. Every video I watch by him is a banger, so we're going to check it out. And check out some more unfair matches of the Colosseum. Imagine having to fight a bear with your bare hands. Not funny. Probably just lost a subscriber there. Imagine having to fight a bear with your bare hands, like in front of people. Like there's people in the crowd like getting drunk cheering you on. Like that's insane. People from the past were crazy. But let's check out the video. The most unfair matches of the Roman Colosseum.
Let's start with the unfair and slowly work our way towards the most brutal matchups on the list. Number 10, blind fighters. Antibadia were criminals who would be forced to fight completely blind. They would be given a straight sword and a helmet for protection. Except the helmet was practically a curse, since it was completely sealed off, preventing the fighter from seeing or hearing anything. The fight would begin as soon as the fighters were placed within close range of one another, with the most popular strategy being the swing and pray method, which in all honesty...
Yeah, spray and pray. Just can't see, just hit everything around me. I'll hit something eventually.
Was the only strategy available. Now, the good news is that judges weren't really needed for these fights, since the winners were very...
I love this guy's narration. It's like he's doing like stand-up comedy. He's like, I can't even do it. It's just he says something and he's like, but he'll be like, I'm trying to think of something. The guy had a gun, but it had no bullets. His narration is just hilarious.
Easy to identify.
It's just because his voice is so monotone. It's funny. I don't know why.
As they were the only contestants still breathing. Now, the crazy part is that this spectacle was seen
and then the animations
as
too.
Comedic relief more than anything. And if you don't think two blind men fighting each other to the death is hilarious, well, you have a lot to learn about comedy. Now, this might not sound...
Yeah, people from the past, just watching somebody get hung. Yeah, this is awesome.
That unfair at first, since both men are equally blind and equipped with the same weapon. But think again, since the winner of the match would typically be rewarded with another match, then another one, and another one, and another one.
Until they're dead.
You get the point. As you can imagine, a winning streak never really lasted for very long. Number 9.
You probably get like two. You could probably get through like 3 guys if you're lucky.
Naval battles. There was nothing more epic than the naval battles of the Colosseum. Also, one of the most unfair, bloody, and expensive. The event would begin by filling the Colosseum with water in around a dozen ships. It's estimated that thousands of prisoners would participate in these events. But let's talk about what made these battles unfair. Now, depending on the starting position of your ship, it could determine your likelihood of survival. Well, at least for a bit longer, as the odds of survival were almost non-existent to begin with. Ships that started in between 2 other ships would make for an easy target, easily creating a 1v2 scenario. Prisoners would invade other ships, killing everyone that stood in their way, while others would simply use the more popular strategy we see today, which is of course, running away from all fights and sneaking their way to the final round, where they can hope to steal the win with a single kill. The bloody fight would come to an end when there was only one ship or team remaining. As terrible as these battles were, at least they were easy to clean up. The Romans would try their best to remove all the large debris from the water, before the stadium would be flushed like a giant toilet bowl, sending all the...
Flushed? What do you mean? They just filled it with water and all the dead bodies? That's so... So I wanted to go to the Colosseum as like a tourist spot. You're telling me there used to be water with bodies floating in it? That's disgusting.
Number 8, gladiator fights. Gladiator fights were the single most popular matches of the Colosseum.
Yeah, these were the ones I heard of.
With the good matchups typically being saved for the main event. Now, how can 2 gladiators fighting each other be unfair, you might ask? Well, for starters, the emperors weren't really interested in fairness, as their primary concern was
entertainment. Give one guy a sword and give the next guy a balloon, or I don't know. It's anything random.
Entertainment. And with over 20 different classes of gladiators to choose from, the styles would be mixed and matched based on entertainment alone. Here are some of the most unfair and popular matchups. Retiarius versus Secutor. Retiarius were equipped with a net, a trident, a dagger, and minimal armor, while the Secutor was equipped with a sword, a large shield, a helmet, and heavy armor.
Okay, yeah, this is not fair. A net? I mean, he has a trident, but still.
Go ahead, pick one. If you chose the Sequitur, well, GG's, you're dead. As the Retiarius just had to keep his distance and poke at the Sequitur. Or better yet,
he has a shield.
Trap him by throwing his net on him, giving him enough time to emote before poking him to death. Alright, let's...
And there would just be people in the crowds just cheering this on.
His net on him, giving him enough time to emote before poking him to death. Alright, let's try another one. Murmillo versus Thorax. Murmillo were armed with a large rectangular shield, a short sword, a helmet, and a metal or leather sleeve for protection, while the Thorax was equipped with a light shield, a curved sword, a helmet, and a metal or leather sleeve for protection. Go ahead, pick one.
I'd probably say this one, because he has a big shield and his face is covered. He has armor, and he just has a curved sword. I would go with this one. Am I wrong again?
If you chose the Murmillo, rip, you're dead.
Okay.
As the Thorax just had to tire out the Murmillo since he was carrying the heavier shield. As you can see, stylistic matchups were a big deal and could easily influence the outcome of a fight. And I know this might come as a shock to some, but not all gladiator fights were to the death. A lot of fights would be called off when a fighter took heavy damage, since good gladiators were very expensive to replace. Number 7. Animal battles. Humans were not the only ones to have unfair matchups inside of the Colosseum, since animals were also treated like criminals. They would be enslaved, pinned against each other, and humiliated.
Wow, they put animals in there too?
And were such a popular spectacle that at times, thousands of animals would be slaughtered in a given day, which was completely unsustainable, driving many animals to extinction. Here are some of the most popular and unfair matchups that were commonly seen in the
Animals, I feel like that's too far. No, actually, humans are too far, but...
Colosseum.
All of it's
Elephant
messed
versus
up.
Rhino. One of the most famous Colosseum battles was when an enraged rhino was pinned against an elephant, with the elephant eventually
I can't lie, this is
winning when he decided to cheat by grabbing a spear with its trunk and gouging the rhino's eyes out. Lion versus tiger. This matchup is basically a robbery, as I'm sure the locals would have bet large amounts of money against the guys from out of town, since they knew that the lion always wins, with there only being one recorded incident of a tiger getting the best of a lion. Elephant versus bull. As you can imagine, when an animal has over 10,000 pounds on its opponent.
Yeah, I mean, elephant's like the strongest animal. Like, they're pretty much the strongest animal. They're the biggest like land animal, I'm pretty sure, and they're like, are they the biggest land animal? Yeah. Other than, well, I was about to say the blue whale, but that's a sea creature. So yeah, elephants can kill a jaguar if it wanted to. You step on it. It's too big. If you get hit by one of those tusks, dude, you're dead.
It's not really going to be much of a fight, is it? But just to make matters worse, sometimes the elephant and the bull would be chained together, forcing the action.
Oh my God.
And no matter how the fight begins, it would always end with the bull being turned to soup. Really quickly, here are some of the other animal fights that were very popular. Rhino versus bear.
Oh, I got the bear.
Rhino versus buffalo. Rhino versus elephant.
It depends on the bear, though. If it's like a black bear, nah. If it's like a grizzly bear, Kodiak bear, done. Like, imagine they had cave bears. We had cave bears still.
Elephant.
Rats.
Crocodile versus hippo. Tiger.
Crocodile. Hippos aren't like... I'll probably say the hippo. The hippo can open its mouth really wide. Hippos aren't like aggressive towards like... or they are aggressive, but they don't eat like meat, so it might not be interested. I don't know.
This is bear. Bear versus bull. Bear versus wolves. Goro versus scorpion. Lion versus bull. Lion versus bear. Lion versus panther. Lion versus chimp.
They're really getting a lot of entertainment.
Lion versus hyenas. Lion versus basically any animal the Romans can get a hold of. Number 6.
Any animal. Lion versus a fruit fly.
2.
Lion versus mosquito, that if it injects you, you die. Lion versus mosquito.
This matchup can be
cholera mosquito. I don't know. Anything.
Fair for either side depending on the circumstances. Let me explain. There are 2 scenarios in which this matchup can take shape. 1. A high-level gladiator will take on 2 prisoners simultaneously, and as the prisoners try their best to figure out how to properly hold a sword, they will realize that it's very difficult to do so, since their hands are no longer attached. Now, the second scenario is
That's what I mean. This guy's so funny. He's like a stand-up comedian. He waits for the joke, and then he says it.
To do so. since their hands are no longer attached.
Or not the punchline, I guess. It's not a joke, but...
Now, the second scenario is a bit more fair. 3 well-trained gladiators were placed inside of the Colosseum. One gladiator would be given heavy armor and a good weapon, while his 2 opponents would receive minimal armor and worse weapons. The duo would need to work together to defeat the better equipped man. But being partnered up is not as...
So they would literally just like watch people die for fun. Like, this is entertainment. Like, well, yeah, man. Like nowadays, yeah, I'm going to go see the football game. I'm going to go see the 49ers play the New York Giants or whatever game it is. Now, you know, it's a lot better. But back then, they're just, yeah, we're going to go watch Tim the Gladiator go kill 2 random 13-year-old children because the king said it would be entertaining.
Easy as you might think, and does come with its own set of challenges. Like knowing whether you should go for the res or attempt to clutch up when your partner inevitably goes down. The last and final way that a gladiator can be outnumbered is during large
trying to revive your teammate
scale battles. This one is of course purely based
Get up, man. I don't want to be here alone with this guy.
on luck alone, and doesn't always mean that you will see a 1v2 matchup, as it just might be a 1v6 depending on how bad your team is. Number 5. Woman versus Dwarf. Emperor Domitian introduced the legendary matchup, Woman versus Dwarf. And I have to admit, this is the only battle on the list where a clear winner was not well documented. But even with the little information we do have,
the little, get it? Little, because the dwarf is small. Okay, I'm gonna stop making jokes. I'm 0 for 2 right now.
Feeling that it just wasn't a fair matchup. I'm just not certain for whom. You see, on one hand, you have a fully grown woman who obviously has the reach advantage, while on the other hand, you have a male dwarf who is much stronger and obviously uses magic. How much stronger? Well, I'm not sure. I did, however, stumble upon this forum where a guy asked the same question back in 2011. Now, sadly, people just replied back with even more interesting questions that we will never get the answers to. And of course, naturally, the entire
we gotta test it again.
Forum devolved into guys just bragging
there's only one thing to do,
about
right?
how many dwarves they can take on at once. One of the most bizarre things about this matchup was that Emperor
dwarves I could take on. I don't know. Like 3, maybe. I don't know. They have armor and swords. It's pretty hard.
Domitian liked to schedule this fight at night, since he preferred this battle when it was illuminated by torchlights. In 2010, a female gladiator's remains were found in England. After they were examined, it was concluded that the woman's legs and arm bones were unusually heavy, suggesting that she had strong muscles. You know, I was originally leaning towards the dwarf, but now I really don't see how they could possibly win. Number 4. Wild animal hunts. Perhaps one of the most unique spectacles of the Colosseum was the wild animal hunts. Here, the entire Colosseum arena was made to resemble the animal's natural environment. A few men were then brought out to the arena equipped with small
oh my god, did they put like a bear in
shields
there?
And weapons. Then for the next few minutes or hours, the arena would be slowly filled with terrifying predators. But if they really wanted to get the crowd on their feet, all the animals would be released at once.
All the animals at once. What are these creatures he's drawing, dude? There's a guy in the tree. Yeah, I would be in a bush somewhere. I would be hiding in a bush. What is this? It's like E.T.
Sometimes the men who were fighting the lions, bears, and panthers would have been well-trained fighters, while other times they would have been condemned.
There's 3. Imagine having a lion, bear, and panther in a room with you. And you're just trying to fight it off with a sword. You better stab it in the right
criminals
spot.
Who were just given the death sentence and stood 0 to no chance of winning. Here are some of the animals
Dude, just chop my head off at that point. Like, honestly, I'd rather have my head chopped off than
could have expected to make an appearance. Lions, tigers, bears, elephants, rhinos, panthers, leopards, hyenas, wolves, boars, bulls, deers, ostriches.
How are you supposed to beat
crocodiles, giraffes, camels, and shiprats. Of course, shiprats were not invited, but they showed up anyways.
Rats with the plague.
Number 3. Man versus Beast. Man vs. Beast matches were one-on-one battles and were the second most popular spectacle, only behind gladiator fights. Now, there were basically 2 ways that this matchup would be arranged, with both of them tailored for maximum entertainment for the crowd. The first one was when a professional slave or volunteer fighter known as a bestiarius would face off with a terrifying beast. The animal could be anything from a lion, leopard, tiger, bear, or any other large and powerful creature. These battles would typically end with the animal being defeated, even if the bestiarius took heavy damage. On the other hand, the second matchup was much more bloody and typically ended with the man being torn to pieces. Here, a criminal or prisoner of war would be forced to face off with the animal.
Well, yeah, if you're like a trained fighter and I've killed 15 lions with this blade right here, then I guess you're pretty good. But I mean, if you're like a random guy, you have no training, no shield, like you're done.
With little to no training, it was only a matter of time before the man would become an anatomy lesson. And it definitely didn't help that the animals were starved for long periods of time before they were brought out, making them a lot more angry and aggressive. There was even a single lion that took out over 200 men before it was finally defeated.
200?
Which is obviously a padded
200 people?
Over 200.
I don't believe that. There's no way. There's no way a lion killed 200 people. They must have not had weapons, dude. There's no way a lion could kill 200 people with weapons. There's no way. It's too many.
Before it was finally defeated.
It can't focus on everybody.
Which is obviously a padded record, since it clearly fought nothing but tomato cans. Oh, I should also mention, there is another event that was very popular and is somewhat related, where a criminal was tied to a stake, and then a wild animal would be released to eat him alive. You know, you would think that...
Yep, as you do. Just, woohoo! Eat that human. Just in the crowd, just...
This would be one of those situations where if you've seen it once, then you've seen them all type of deal. But apparently, some emperors love to show this one quite often. Number 2. Prisoner versus professional gladiator. Easily one of the most unfair matchups of the Colosseum was when prisoners would face off against a professional and seasoned gladiator. The professional gladiator could have been a slave himself with many fights under his belt, or a volunteer gladiator that was part of one of the many gladiatorial schools. Either way, the criminal with 0 to no experience was basically sentenced to death. You see, what could be worse than being invaded, enslaved, and kept inside of a cell for days, just to be given a weapon you have never used, then pushed to the center of the Colosseum floor, only for Spartacus to make his walkout shortly after you. Number 1. Rigged fights. What could be more?
I'm so glad I was born. Did he just say rigged fight? They had rigged fights. I'm so glad I was born today and not during this time, dude. Like, I'm so serious. This sounds horrible. Like, I feel so bad for people that had to go through this. Like, it's funny to laugh at now, like, ha ha ha, like a man had to fight a lion, but like, dude, I'm actually like, actually imagine having to go through
fair than rigged matches. Emperor Commodus...
I would just stab myself in the neck, dude, before I even walked out. There's no way.
Definitely the worst offender when it came to rigged matches. The emperor ruled Rome from 180 to 192 AD, and was even portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix in the 2000 film Gladiator. Commodus was obsessed with becoming a famous and well-respected gladiator, so much so that he would even compete himself. Well, if you could even call it that.
He would rig the fight so he could win.
An emperor fighting as a gladiator was unheard of. Now, of course, Commodus had the best training in all of Rome and was actually very talented with the sword. But that wouldn't stop him from rigging fights by secretly injuring men just moments before they were brought out to face him.
Wow.
His opponents were injured in a way that could be concealed under their armor, but be devastating enough to hinder their performance or make a limb unusable.
Like stab him in the rib or something.
Another strategy that the emperor would use was simply fighting men with 0 to no experience, making for another easy W. Emperor Commodus would have the longest undefeated record as a gladiator, and it's suspected that he competed hundreds of times. He would also charge the Roman treasury around 25,000 pieces of silver every...
He's charging the government in which he's a part of money to fight, but he's rigging the fight.
Every time he competed. There are many things you could call Emperor Commodus, but one thing you can't say is that he ever discriminated, since animals were also injured and thrown in to face him. Wow. Apparently, he killed hundreds of lions, ostriches, some giraffes, and on one occasion, even killed 3 elephants that were just laying on the floor. Now, as horrible as this all sounds, this was...
I don't believe in hell, but I hope he went there.
It was all just a warm-up. And in November of 192 AD, he held the Polybian Games, a festival that lasted around 2 weeks. There, Commodus shot hundreds of animals with arrows and javelins every single day. But if it makes you feel any better, 1 month after the Polybian Games, Commodus would be strangled to death inside of his bathtub by a professional wrestler named Narcissus. Which, for a man, that has to be the most embarrassing way to be found dead. Completely naked inside of a cold tub.
What are these animations? Who is that?
You can't even explain your way out of that one.
He actually got strangled to death. Imagine you're chilling in the bathtub reading the local newspaper. Some guy comes behind you and just chokes you out. You're just dead, dude, floating in the water. No idea what happened to you. Jesus Christ, that sounds horrible. But this is a great video. Very very sad and very insightful as well, because I didn't know half this stuff actually happened. So yeah, sad to hear, but I'm aware that most of history was terrible. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed though. Let me know in the comments below, which one do you think was the worst? And I'd probably have to say probably the rigged matches. The rigged matches, or probably the animal. Yeah, having to fight an animal sounds terrible. Like a fierce one. Like you one man with a sword fight a tiger that we've starved for 2 weeks. No, I think I'd just kill myself. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know how you enjoyed the video. And until next time, peace out.